Welcome to podcast number 4. I'm here with a very special guest and friend, Joe Darro, entertaining Las Vegas for 60 plus years. At 83, he's going strong. Probably the most incredible person I know in this town. And who better to kick off a podcast about celebrating the gambling lifestyle than with Joe Darro. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you, Steve. Good to be here with you, buddy.
So, Joe, when I say the gambling lifestyle, you've been in Las Vegas for 60 years. You're still going strong in this town. What does that mean to you?
Well, when I first came out here, I was with a group. And of course, I had never been here. I was a guy in my 20s, I'm seeing all these gambling, beautiful hotels and everything and all this great entertainment. I'm going, this is it, man. This is the place to be. So, it's been very good to me, treated me very well. I've made a nice living here and worked for some great people like yourself, and all the main hotels, and worked opposite so many wonderful, talented entertainers and big bands and comedians and, you name it. But it's been a great thing. The gambling thing has made this town naturally, and the entertainment and gambling thing combined, it's Las Vegas.
Yeah. Now, your life didn't start in Las Vegas. It started in Albany, New York.
Yeah, born and raised Albany, New York.
Yeah, what was that like growing up in Albany?
It was great. A big Italian family. I was the youngest of 8 kids. And I started, everybody was musical in my family as far as they all liked to sing. Everybody sang. My father played the flute and the guitar. And so I was always around music ever since I was born, and
Were your parents born in the USA?
No, they're from Italy,
Yeah.
from Calabria, Italy. And I came here. See, my mother was, I believe, 16, and my dad was 21. I think he was 5 years older.
Yeah.
They came up from Italy and went to Ellis Island and settled up in Albany. And my grandmother was there too.
So immigration's a lot in the news lately.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But actually, this country was settled largely by people like your parents.
Yeah, right, sure. Everybody came from somewhere.
Yeah.
Had to get here.
And what would make someone? Las Vegas in the late 50s, early 60s was still a frontier. New
really
frontier.
was.
So what made you? How did you get from Albany to Las Vegas?
All right, first time I came to Las Vegas, it was 1957. I came out here with 3 brothers, the Russo brothers. We grew up together, and they had a job at the Frontier Hotel. They said, "You want to go?" I said, "Sure." So we came out, and we were playing at the Frontier. And while I was out here, my brother called me. He said, "You got your draft notice." I said, "What?" He said, "You have to come out to Albany." So I had to go all the way back to Albany to go down to the draft thing. So a friend of mine and myself, we were trying to get into special services. So the guy said, "You have to go down to West Point down there and see the," I said, "Really, and take the exam?" Okay, so we drove down to West Point. My friend and I, Ray Valerio, who was a trumpet player. So we're down there, and I got to meet this lieutenant. He said, "Okay, I see you, you play the piano, you also sing?" "Yes." "Well, play something." Okay, so I played something. "Okay, so I want you to sing. What would you like me to sing?" "Sing a ballad." I said, "Okay." He said, Sergeant Schwartz will play for you." "Okay, I guess, whatever." "What do you want to sing?" "You Are Too Beautiful, key of C." Okay. This guy starts playing. He's going, dum, 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 dum. I go, no. It's legato. It's very slow, really pretty. So I did my thing. Then my friend Ray, they give him a piece of music, and he starts playing it. And this lieutenant goes, "That's wrong. This is wrong. That's wrong." And Ray goes, "How would you like a punch in the mouth?"
Yeah.
I go, "My God, we're going to get court-martialed before we even get in." Ray was a big kid. So we got out of there quickly. So we went back to Albany, and I stayed around there. And let me go back. When I was in Vegas, we were playing at the Frontier Hotel. We worked opposite a group called the Frank Moore Four, who I had met in Albany many years ago.
Right.
And they were being fronted by a gentleman named Bobby Sherwood, who I recognized. He used to be on TV all the time. I saw him on Jerry Lester. He was on with Milton Berle on his show. Bert Parks had an afternoon show. He was on Masquerade Party. He used to do all these shows. So Bobby was fronting the group. So one day I saw in a paper, Albany, at the Thruway Motel, Bobby Sherwood and Phyllis Sherwood. Yeah, it's the same guy I met. So I went up there and I went up and saw him. I said, "Hi, Mr. Sherwood. You probably don't remember me. I worked opposite you at the Frontier Hotel in Las Vegas." And he said, "I'm looking for a piano player and a drummer because these two gentlemen I have are leaving. They were just filling in." I said, "Oh, really? Well, I'll be your piano player and I'll get you a drummer." So I got him a drummer and joined him, and I stayed with him for 12 years. But we came out here to Vegas,
Right.
and then we had a contract with Del Webb. And at that time, he owned the Sahara and the Thunderbird, and he had a place in Lake Tahoe, and then he had a place in Phoenix. So we made the circuit. We would play up there 6 weeks down here,
You know, this is a podcast,
Yeah.
which is a new technology.
Uh-huh.
We didn't have the internet back in the in the late 50s and early 60s.
True.
But I think one thing that people would enjoy hearing about is what was Las Vegas like when you compare it to the glitzy, multi-billion-dollar properties we have now on the Strip. What was Vegas like in the 60s?
Steve, it was incredible. I remember working at the Flamingo opposite Harry James's band with Buddy Rich, Billy Eckstein with 9 pieces, Della Reese with 7 pieces, our group with 5 pieces, and another group, 5 pieces, and 5 groups in one hotel.
Yeah.
Music was 24 hours a day. You could go to any hotel. They had somebody. I said, I worked the Thunderbird. We worked from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. I worked the Mint from 6 a.m. to noon. I worked the Castaways from 1 a.m. to 6. There was music all the time. It was just incredible. And you go to any hotel, you go to Sahara, there's Louis Prima with Keely Smith. Don Rickles was in the lounge in those days.
Right.
The 4 Freshmen were in the lounge in those days. I mean, every hotel you went to.
So at that time, of course, we look at 50 years later, we still have slot machines. We still have gaming tables. At that time, entertainment, music, big band music.
Oh, yeah.
Was what brought the people in. Today, they build arenas. They put the latest acts. They bring hip hop artists in. They bring DJs.
I know.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
But at that time, that's what it was. Tell me what it was like to be in that scene. Tell me what it was like, and from the standpoint of the customers that would come, the interaction between the customers and the professionals who were playing for them. What was that like?
Well, it was really nice because in those days the people, when they come out, they were all dressed. The ladies were in like a cocktail dress or a gown. The guys were either a suit and tie or a tux. Everybody was dressed up to nines, beautiful, and all the casinos. I mean, all the bosses were nice as long as you did your job. Treated you great. I worked at the Stardust Hotel. I worked there for Herb Tobin and Al Sachs. Great one, probably one of the best jobs.
Al Sachs, that's a name from the past.
Yeah, he was a Chicago guy. Yeah. But it was the best job I ever had outside of the plaza. That was the best job I ever had in my life.
So people were dressed to the nines.
Oh yeah.
People were classy.
Classy, oh yeah.
And now, of course, on any given day, you can walk through a casino and someone's dragging a cooler full of beer.
Oh God! Or they're in shorts with holes in them, or I just sit there and I go.
So in some respects, I'm younger than you, but I remember at least the tail end of those days, and I'm also someone who's focused on the future.
Of course.
So I can see it from both ways, but sometimes it makes us sound like we're a bit curmudgeon-y.
No,
the good old days, but it was different then.
Yeah, I mean it was so nice because when I was raised, I used to listen. You listen to the radio all the time, and you hear all these people that Billy Eckstein or Harry James band, and then you come out and you work opposite them. Wow, I mean you're like, gee, who are these people? I got to meet them. We worked the Flamingo Hotel, and in the showroom is Ella Fitzgerald, one of my idols. And I got to know her. She was so shy, such a nice lady. And they used to sit in the back of the room. And one night I'm looking back there, there's Ella and Sarah Vaughan sitting back there listening to us. And I'm,
amazing.
And so, you're going, whoa.
Of course, the name that's synonymous with those times in Vegas was Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite. You and I, you've entertained me at a house party playing some of his tunes.
Sure.
What was it like to perform in the time of Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack?
Well, every time I got to see him at Caesars, you know, you go there and place is packed, and like I say, everybody's dressed, and those guys are out there and then just having a good time, and you're hearing all this great music, and you're hearing him singing, you hear Sammy singing, and Dino, and Joey's doing his one-liners, or who's ever there, Peter Lawford sometime, and it was just great. I don't know how to explain it to compare it to what you see today, but it was just great, and I had the pleasure. 1963, we were in Harrah's in Lake Tahoe, and we're in the lounge, and Sammy Davis is in the showroom. Okay, now he does 2 shows, and we're on the late shift, 1 a.m. to 6. So Sammy, after his second show, he comes out, and he sits in with us till 6 a.m., and we have breakfast, and we go play golf, and then we go to bed at noon. And we did this he was there, I think, 2 weeks. Every night he would sit in with us.
What was he like?
Sammy, down to earth guy, no egos, just a beautiful guy. And I remember once he said to me, "Hey Joe, come on up to my suite. I got a new album by my favorite singer." I said, "Oh, a new album by Frank." He goes, "No. I love Frank. He's done some." He said, "My favorite singer is Mel Torme." I said, "Really? I didn't know that." He said, "Yeah." And he told me, here I am, about 27 years old. And he said, "I need to talk to you." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You sing so good that most people will never appreciate you." And I just looked at him like, huh? I didn't know. I think that's a compliment.
Yeah.
And I said, "Thank you." And over the years, I've had people say to me, he was right.
Who else did you get to meet? You say you referred to Dino as another member of the Rat Pack. Did you get to meet him?
No, I never met Frank or Dino. Frank did come in to see us actually when we were in Tahoe, but he stood in the back of the room, and my boss Bobby Sherwood went back and talked to him because they were old friends.
Is he the best ever, Frank, as in terms of vocalist?
Well, I love Frank. My favorite singer actually is Jack Jones.
Okay.
I love Jack, but Frank, is right up there. But yeah, as far as his phrasing and his breath control, he said he learned that from Tommy Dorsey's trombone playing. Because Tommy used to do a thing where he could do they call it circular breathing, and Frank could do that. He could hold a note for, whatever.
But what makes, people like Frank, today you have recording artists who may be relevant in the 90s or the 80s, but someone like Frank Sinatra was relevant in every decade that he performed. What being a professional musician, what quality do you need to have to be relevant, to be successful year after year after year?
Boy, I don't know if I really know the answer to that. As far as Frank goes, his interpretation of songs, the lyrics, I worked with some younger singers years ago. A friend of mine used to bring them, and I would accompany them. And they'd be sitting there singing a song. I go, his friend of mine, he had a great line that he used to say. He said, "Pretend that you're going to a movie." To the singer, he goes, "Now you're sitting there, okay, the curtain goes up and the credits come on and the story unfolds. So you see how the story develops from the beginning and how it, so a song is like that, especially a ballad. It's not just a bunch of words somebody wrote down, it's telling a story. So tell the story, get the story across to the people so they know what you're talking about."
So, and that's well said. I've always said that's I grew up with my parents listening to the Frank Sinatra show every Saturday. We would sit and listen, and it was like storytelling. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what
to me. That's what it is. That's what I still try to do. When I sing a song, I just try to interpret the lyrics so that people say, "Hey, yeah,
Now the young people today, and we were having a little discussion about this. Even my kids, they'll listen to rap at their fraternity dance parties or whatever entertainment they're doing, and of course, from their perspective, it's a different type of storytelling, and a different way to tell a story. But what's your opinion? And just as someone who's been making music for 60 years, what's your opinion on music today? What do you like about it? What makes you yearn for the old days?
Yeah, well, I don't really listen to the music itself. I don't listen to the radio things. I am really in love with Lady Gaga. That girl can sing.
Right.
And I hadn't heard her, and I was channel surfing one day, and I heard Ladies a Tramp, and I heard Tony Bennett singing. Then I heard this girl come in. I'm going, who is that? And it's Lady Gaga. I went, my God, that girl can sing jazz. She can sing anything. So I'm a big fan of hers. And this kid, Bruno Mars, I think he's very talented.
Well, he just got himself a deal.
Yeah.
For I think 200 million. What do you make of that?
Can you get us that?
Yeah.
Could you work on that for
200 million to
I'll
play at the
I'll take 1% of that.
he's playing over at the new Park Theater
Yeah.
at the Monte Carlo.
I know. But I mean, the other stuff, as I say, I don't really listen to it. But these, the people, the rap thing, I don't get it.
Well, we
I'm
still
sorry.
have in Vegas, you know, this is where the Elton Johns of the world, the
Yeah.
Cher,
Well, I know Tony
Jennifer
still comes
Lopez,
here.
Tony Bennett did a show. In fact, we went to it
Yeah.
at the where was he playing? Was it at the Wynn? But he sounded. I had seen him about 15
Yeah.
years previous, as good as when we saw him.
I know. I saw him, my wife and I, on our anniversary. Matter of fact, when I was still down at the plaza, we went and saw him at the Nugget.
Yeah.
And you could hear a pin drop. I
Yeah.
said, boy, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly. So let's talk about you. I know you as a person. You're modest. You're humble. There's no one who works harder at 83. I've employed a lot of people in town, and we had a lot of people that work with us when we had casinos downtown. But you do it without being told, and you love doing it. But what's been the secret for you to perform at such a high level for so long here in town?
I don't know. I have people, even my daughter said to me, Dad, how do you still do it? And I go, well, I don't. As far as physically and everything, I've never smoked, and I don't drink. So I think that's helped me out as far as being up, because I've had so many friends that were smokers and they lost their voice, or they can't sing like they used to, or whatever it is. And I go, why do you do that? Yeah. So, but as far as that, I don't know. I try to keep young. I try to think. I've always been a guy. I don't exercise as far as going to the gym, but I walk all the time. Right. I'm a walker. I love that, and I hum. I had a teacher years ago I know that said to me, what's good? I said, what's good for? She said, humming is really good, Joe. I said, really? She says, hum. And you're in the car, and in my car, I have a CD that I made years ago, and I just sing along with it. I try to keep my voice in shape. Voice active. Yeah, because that's a great thing, because the voice is a muscle. You don't use it.
We were sitting before Christmas, you and I were sitting with a mutual friend, Al Bernstein, and we were talking about Vegas, and it was Al who said that he had heard Clint Holmes, who still performs.
Oh, he's the best.
Oh. But Clint Holmes said of you that he felt you were the best vocalist in Las Vegas. What does that mean? What does that make you feel like when you hear that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm really basically shy, except when I'm out. But matter of fact, we did a thing last week. We had a friend of ours had passed. A young man named Teddy Davey, who was a wonderful singer, and he was only 53 years old, cancer. So we did a little tribute to him up at Nora's, and Clint was there, and Kelly, and a whole bunch, and I was playing my drummer. We played for all these singers, and Clint said, "Let Joe sing a song," because so I sang "How Do You Keep the Music Playing," which is one of my, and I got a standing O. He's the first one that stood up, and he's just sitting there shaking his head.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Can I ask you to sing a bar of that?
How do you keep the music playing? How do you make it last?
Beautiful.
It's kind of hard.
Still doing it. Yeah. Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back and take some questions and talk some more. Okay.
Great.
So, Joe, you've been doing this a long time, 60 years, entertaining Las Vegas. You've seen a lot of change here. I have a comment from Bill at my Twitter at Stephen A. Crystal. Bill asks, of all the memories, what stands out as your favorite story in Las Vegas?
Ooh, boy. I got the a very nice honor of working for Debbie Reynolds when she had her hotel over there in Convention Center. It was funny. I was playing at a wedding or something. I came home. My wife said, "Honey, there's a message for you." I went, "Oh, okay." So I thought, hi, Joe, this is Debbie Reynolds. Hi, would you like to come work at my hotel for me? I've heard some nice things about you. And yes, of course. So I went over there to their hotel, met Debbie, and I worked there for about 3.5, 4 years. And we also started doing a TV show from Debbie. We used to do a show once a week. It was on Thursday night, and they would tape it, and it was on Channel 13. So I had the house trio, and there was a gentleman, his name was Harry Siebold. He was the producer. So I would say to Harry, like Wednesday, Harry, who's on tomorrow night? He goes, oh, I don't have anybody yet. You don't have anybody? It's tomorrow night. Yeah, all right. So I'd go the next night, and who'd be there? Joe Williams, Jack Jones, Marlena Shaw. I'm going, how do you do that? And these people would come on for free. They didn't even get paid.
Yeah, all the top talent.
Yeah. So I would sit there. There'd be no rehearsals. So I would sit there and go, Joe, what do you want to sing? Okay, so-and-so, what key? Bum, bum. All right. I'd get everybody's song. No rehearsal. And we go on. Okay, and here's the great Joe Williams singing, Them Their Eyes. Ready? 1, 2, kick it off. Yeah. And I got to play for all these people, Steve, and it was like, God, what a... And then one night we were doing, Joe was on, and he was doing Them Their Eyes, and he started to scat sing. I don't know what scat singing is, So he started singing, and then he looked over at me and went, like, your turn. I didn't know he was going to do that, and I started scatting with him. I have the tape on that, and I was like, and just to play for all these wonderful...
Debbie Reynolds, American icon, she passed recently.
And she did a thing, actually, when they were having some financial problems near the end.
Yeah.
I was there, and a gentleman named Joe Bianchi was the entertainment director / stage manager. He calls me in his office, and he said, Joe, I have to let you go. I can't afford to pay you anymore. And I said, well, can you give me at least a 2-week notice? He said, no, I can't. So you'll finish Friday. I said, okay. So I went up, did my set. Then I went over to call Debbie and thank her. And I said, hi, Debbie. Hi, yeah. I said, I just want to thank you. She said, for what? I said, well, I finished. Friday's my last day. I was just told. She said, oh, no, you stay.
Yeah.
I said, Debbie, I don't want to cause any problems. I know. She said, Joe, how much do you make a week? I told her. She paid me cash every Friday for almost a year. She had to, and this lady, I mean, she never filed bankruptcy for Eddie Fisher or for Harry Carl. She paid off all their debts.
Yeah.
And they're all...
Yeah, she's a pretty... I had a chance to meet her when we were downtown at the casinos.
Yeah.
Just a very impressive person.
Oh.
I think, as a younger person, I don't realize how important she was to American culture.
I know.
It wasn't just the people she was married to, but she was an actress in her own right and an entertainer. And most importantly, she was a very productive and loyal and active citizen in Las Vegas.
I know. And, my wife got a big kick. She's come in one day, and there's Debbie over there cleaning ashtrays. She goes, look at this big star over there. She's cleaning ashtrays.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that stands out in your mind. Tell me one of the worst moments or one of the worst memories. It can't all be good. Vegas is a rough and tumble town.
Well, I think one of the worst moments was when I was working downtown. Yeah. And the lady entertainment director who had been trying to get rid of me after they finally sold the hotel, she called me up into her office and she said, oh, here, this is for you. And she gives me a piece of paper and there's my notice. Yeah. And she's sitting there with this grin on her face like, I finally got you. Yeah. Yeah. And I said, oh, okay. So I went back down to the restaurant, and the girl that was the manager there at the time said to me, Joe, what's the matter? So I showed her the paper, and she went ballistic. Yeah. She says, no, you're the best thing in this restaurant, blah, blah, blah. So she went to the new general manager, who I hadn't even met yet. Yeah. And he calls me in his office. He said, Joe, I don't know you, and, let me check this out. I said, okay. So about 2 days later, he calls me in the office. He says, don't worry, she doesn't work here anymore. I said, oh, okay.
You won that battle.
I won that one.
The old school beat the new school.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah. And look, as many years as you've been doing it, there's going to be some ups and downs.
Oh yeah, of course. Every place.
Joe, I know you referred to your wife earlier, but obviously your life's been about music, and you're like to work hard. But tell me something about you on the personal level. I know. How long have you been with your wife?
Well, we just celebrated 29 years in October.
Awesome.
And it was so funny. I met her they have a feast there every year called the Feast of San Gennaro,
Yeah.
and they had it at different places. So one year, a guy I was working with said it was at the Landmark, and he said, "Joe, I got a call to do the Feast of San Gennaro. It's freebie. You don't get paid. You get to eat. So you want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, okay." So we went and we played. We did a set, and we came off, and we're standing backstage. So I'm looking, and I see these two ladies come walking up backstage, and I don't recognize them. Two really pretty girls. So the one girl knew the drummer, so she came up to him and talked to him. Then she came over to me. She said, "God, wow, you were great. I'd love to meet you. I mean, I've heard so much about you." And she said, "I'm Joy Fuller." I said, "Oh," I said, "you're married to Jim with trumpet player." She says, "Well, we're separated." I said, "Oh, what a shame."
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to meet this lady, and we went together for a year. Then we got married.
Awesome.
And this girl she was a Miss Washington, D.C. She won Miss Cherry Blossom. She won all these things. And she used to sing at the White House for JFK. And she said he used to chase her all over the joint.
Yes.
And she says, "Here I am, like 21 years old. I don't know what to do as the president of the United States." And he would call me on the phone, want to know where I'm singing at and this. And I said, "Honey, you should write a book."
Yeah, exactly.
And she told me some other stories. Matter of fact, one with Sinatra, she was in L.A., and I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Vince Edwards? He was Ben Casey.
Sure.
All right, he fancied himself as a singer. He was putting together an act. So he wanted some backup singer. So he hired my wife, and at the time it was not my wife, so they rehearsed, and then he said, "I want to go on the road." She says, "I can't go on the road. I have a family."
Yeah.
And he said he got really belligerent, starting threatening her and this and that. And she says, "I didn't know what to do." So she says, "I knew this piano player. His name was Ronnie Brown, and he used to play at all Frank's parties." So she says, "I told Ronnie. Ronnie told Frank, and that was the last I ever heard from Vince Edwards."
Yeah. Well, Frank is notorious for being a good enforcer.
Yeah, he
Exactly.
told her that. And one of the girls had told her when she came back on the road, he said, "Good thing you didn't go because he raped one of the dancers." Oh, well, that was nice.
So she saw her own side of
Yes.
of the LA scene in Vegas.
Yeah.
And what do you guys like to do when you're not performing, when you're not entertaining? What do you guys do in your downtime?
Well, we're basically homebodies. We like to stay home. We just sit and watch some TV or whatever. And then we have 9 grandkids and 2 great grandkids.
Awesome.
So everything. And we like to go out to lunch or dinner. We like to do that. We go have a couple of favorite spots we like to go to and go out. We're just basically very quiet at home. We sit and watch some TV or whatever, or listen to some music.
Be together.
Yeah, just be together.
Awesome. So as you look, we're sitting here 2018. What do you see in the future? How do you feel, having been here for 50 plus years, about Las Vegas, its future?
Well, Stephen, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I saw yesterday Steve Wynn's going to build another hotel. All right, whatever he's going to do there, But as far as what I do, I'd like to keep going as long as I can, as long as people keep hiring me. I remember my brother several years ago goes, "When are you going to retire?" I go, "Retire from what? I play music. It's not like I have a big pension." So, I'll just keep working, and hopefully there'll be some places for us to still go and hear our kind of music, because I know you like our kind of music too. So hopefully I hope one of these hotel guys says, "You know what? People still like the old time music. Let's at least keep putting some in somewhere, maybe a small lounge, something." I see Michael Gaughan still does it, you know.
Look, I think, and that's one of the reasons for doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
This industry's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Las Vegas has only grown and become more important in the world stage in terms of being an entertainment capital. Obviously, the tastes and the demographics and what people want change. But what is the foundation of the city is important to preserve and to carry through in different ways.
I played a place years ago. I was out on Buffalo somewhere, and all the people that came in there were young, and we were playing our music. And Scott called me. He goes, "What do you call that music you play?" I said, "Swing music." He says, "I like it."
Yeah.
You know, we were doing Louis Prima and Sinatra and all this stuff. And the valet guy told me, he said, "You draw better than the rock and roll groups we have on the weekends."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, good."
No, look, sometimes it's making things that are old new again.
Yeah, exactly.
I was with you. You've met my children over time, but I was with my son who was on break from UVA,
Hmm.
and he just took over as president of his fraternity. I say, "What do you guys? Who comes up to the campus now
Yeah,
to entertain the students?" And he played some music, and you know what? It could be a new version of swing.
yeah.
That was the style of music. So things get reinvented. They do.
I know. Some of these, it was funny. I think it was Paul Anka did an album. He took all these rock and roll songs and made them big band swing things, and it was really
It's
quite
awesome.
great,
Yeah.
know.
Well, Joe, it's been great visiting with you.
Me too, my friend.
I think you've been a friend more than anything,
Oh,
but I think you symbolize what is so unique and fantastic about Las Vegas and the gambling lifestyle. You're part of it.
thank
Thank
you,
you
my
so
friend.
much.
You're welcome, sir.